Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about data because all marketers depend on getting the right data, collecting data, and we can use this data to create the right marketing message, create content, many other things. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Andrea Paternostro. How are you?
Oh, fine, Anatoly. Thank you for having me again 1 year after.
Yeah, because I got a lot of valuable insights from the first episode and I want to learn more. I need it. I know it's important to manage data because I still see this issue when people use generic data by using online tools. They chase high volume keywords or analyze competitors, use the same, but each case is different. It's not a good idea. That's why I'm excited to learn more about that. Andrea, remind our listeners about yourself, about your experience, business, and you can tell more about Italy, why you have such awesome pasta, pizza, and many other things.
Okay. I live in Turin now. 2 years ago, I lived in Milan. I moved and I'm very satisfied with this choice. We, actually, we are relocating with my wife. So in few days, we'll be just outside the Turin and a beautiful place in the green. Anyway, when talking about data management, I'm stealing knowledge from my colleagues at Tyrion, which is where I work, my office job. They are real actual experts in data management since they produce and manage an enterprise platform about data management. I am the CIO, the search marketing manager. So I try to conciliate these two words, the words of developers of the software platforms and the word of marketing, which is cool. It's a challenge, because sometimes we don't have the same thoughts. Sometimes we need to speak a common language. So which is the common language? What are the best practices of data management that can be useful as well as for CIO, for search engine optimization? First of all, the business process. What I have learned in these 3 years at Tyrion is that people who really knows a lot about data care about the business process. Because technology is abundant today. There's a lot of technologies, a lot of software of possibilities to do things, to do automations, to save time to people by reducing manual tasks, everything that you need a data platform for. But what really makes the difference is the business process. So if you fit your data knowledge into a business process, that's why the market is so hot and so touched by hypes from time to time. Hypes, for example, data mesh, data fabric, data ops for some reasons, all names that are familiar to people working with data. What does matters really is the business approach, because otherwise these two words are gonna remain separate and they won't speak the same language. The things that we use to make this words speak together is a big business dictionary, for example. Business dictionary is a tool where you have common shared definitions about data and the way you use it. Another important concept, really relevant key concept, is metadata. Metadata today is what makes the difference in a platform, because it's attributes, they are attributes of data, and not only technical attributes, as well in the past it was thought to be just a technical thing, but a business thing. So for example, if you Google for business metadata, you can have a perspective on how business people are using metadata in their jobs and taking advantage and making more profits because they will have a clear shared definitions of data. Some organizations are mature about data management and can have a chief data officer, CDO, but some others aren't are really at the beginnings of data management. So maybe they don't have a CDO, they don't have an executive in the organization, in the organizational chart, in the structure of the top management, and it's more difficult to take advantage and to create value from data. So business is the key. How much you can make data speak with business by using good processes.
Nice, nice. Yeah, love it. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's talk about using the right data. I remember one story about Jeff Bezos. Once he got data from research team about a new product, and this team asked him to give more time to get more data, to analyze more, but he denied because he told them that it's enough. We have enough data and we need to test, experiment to go ahead. And this product called Alexa. Today, almost all homes in the US have this gadget. And I'm interested about getting enough data because I found that many data specialists can tell that you don't need to crush people's minds with over data to provide a lot more than they need. And according to some tweets, studies, that companies usually implement 40% of all recommendations. So, for example, if they pay for consulting services 10,000, they just implement $4,000. Yeah, 60% ignored. Can you tell how to transfer data to decision makers, to companies, that it's enough, we don't need more data, let's use it? Because I see three problems. The first, less data or generic data, enough data, and over data. So any insights how to find the balance between them?
Yeah, this is the last scenario is the most common today. We are being overwhelmed by data, so over data is maybe the most common one. How not to be surrounded by too many data, and how to get data enough data to decide. You need to diminish, to make lower the noise made by bad data, which means to curate the data quality part, for example, data quality controls, often making them automatic. For example, thanks to a specialized software, because if the data quality controls are manuals, people can make more errors and spend and waste so much time. For example, when you have to release a new home banking app, so a digital financial app for smartphones, there was a client. I remind of a business case. There was a client which spent so many hours, a dozen, maybe 100 hours in testing this product before releasing. Having a good data software means that you lower your time to market. Maybe your new time to market for this product will be one quarter, 50% of the previous one. Because when people get stuck into Excel, into manual controls in Excel, they waste time. If you have a good tool and a good process, you can save 75% of the time, and you will save a lot of money. This was called continuous testing, and it was about the software quality assurance, software quality control, and it drove the client to release with much more speed their digital product. It's a big financial group releasing digital products to families, millions of downloads of digital apps. So you can imagine how much is relevant to test 1 month before the software product, and to discover immediately have the critical the bugs, and you can do bug fix day by day instead that after 1 month of development. This is an excellent use of a data tool for anticipating the release of a software, for example, which makes the customer happier because the product will have higher quality, and of course it's driving more sales and driving more profit to the company.
Yeah, nice. Well explained. Okay, let's talk about choosing the right data. For example, if we have data, and I found, for example, when companies usually try to sell a lot more than customers need. Let me explain why. For example, in a homepage, I often see when companies add almost all their products, all catalogs. But if I open apple.com, I can see only iPhone. I don't see anything else. So I can scroll down to find a MacBook, scroll down to find Apple Watch, all Apple products. But I found that Apple doesn't try to sell from one visible screen all products because iPhone is responsible for plus 40% of all sales. So
Yeah.
Apple gets more sales from iPhone. But when companies add almost all their products in homepage, it might confuse customers. They don't know what to click, what to buy. And if it's hard, the best way what people can do, bounce. They just click, leave this website, forget about this website. I don't need it. So can you tell how to choose priorities? Because I remember another story from Bill Gates, and he said how he can sell products if he has product A and product B. After investing X amount of money to product A and product B, if product B, for example, sells 2 times more, the next time all budget will come to product B, ignoring product A because he knows he can sell a lot more. Can you tell about choosing priorities, important things that customers need, than trying to sell almost everything?
Yeah, such an excellent example. Maybe when you are in front of an analytics dashboard, for example, let's think of the new GA4 that everyone is migrating because Google wants us to migrate to GA4 for analytics or our website. You can feel a bit strange in front of the new dashboard because you find less things. But after some months, you discover that less is more in data, as in life. Less is more. So you will understand better if you concentrate just on some KPIs, a few KPIs, not too many. So you can always add more insights. You can add widgets in your GA4 dashboard. You can add them later. But first, you are taught to try to get used to this new kind of simplified approach. This is important, in my opinion. We had plenty of examples, B2B, B2C. I remember an e-commerce plugin maker developer which told us in an event about WordPress, just by reducing the choices for the customer from free to 2 choices, they say they have increased the sales of that plugin because there were too many choices on page. People get confused when they have too many choices to choose from, and this is the lesson, in my opinion. Less is more.
Yeah, I agree. People love simplicity, and I love it. Simple content. I hate, because, for example, I found some books are good for sleeping. When you have problems with sleep, you can take a new business book and sleep well, all night without medicine pills. So, guys, if you have problems with sleep, just take a boring book. You can sleep well. uh, I'm interested about important steps to take when starting a data management project. Can you tell if you have some checklist or steps before management data? What kind of preparation you usually use?
Okay, I'd like my colleagues at Tyrion to answer this, but I promised not to oversell myself about this. So honestly, I'm stealing. I've been since 2020 stealing from them their knowledge. So I will try to summarize it for you. How to start data management projects? Expert people start by trying to understand other people, their needs, and their relationships, business relationships across the teams within an organization, for example. Which is the organizational chart, how the information flows, how the process can be streamlined, simplified, and which ones are the data owners. In modern data management, the key concept is data owner. If we speak about roles, I am also press officer. You don't know, but I am press officer of DEMA Italy, the International Data Management Association, the Italian chapter. So I live with. We had a meeting this afternoon, and they talked, of course, about data management all time. I'm really bracing data people, data leaders, and when they analyze business situations, they try to understand who are the data owners, because if you know who is gonna consume your data, the data that the organization will produce, it will be simpler to organize the process. Another key concept, for example, is not only data owner, but the data steward. It's a concept related to data governance. Maybe data governance today is still the most important keyword to search about, to understand how data management works today. My friend Mauro, my head of marketing, Egle, are publishing a book about data governance in next 2 months. They will present it all over Italy with a lot of events, speaking at events. And they are very active about this because it's a matter of data culture. And they are disseminators. What is necessary today is dissemination of key organizational concepts. What I studied in 2028 in my master at Bocconi University about information systems management, when I studied it, I gave it not so much importance, but 15 years after, I know that everything is about governance and people within an organization. Everything is about that. So now I understand what's the real difference between information system and just hardware and software. The first one, information system, means that there are people managing the software, hardware, and some kind of information flowing within a company.
I'm interested about how to manage data across different departments. For example, sales department, marketing department, content creation department, I don't know, or specialists, because I see when people don't understand each other. For example, salespeople distrust marketers. So we have this issue. Of course, it's better to have this trust, to create cohesive goals, to go ahead together. But we have this thing. So can you tell how to manage data across different departments, especially when people don't communicate enough time because of many other things, like they're busy, or any insights about that?
I will tell you what mature organizations are trying to do. They are trying to build a data marketplace. which is another huge concept, which is difficult, of course, to do because it's a long process. It involves all the organization. It's often maybe top down because you need the strategic sponsorship from top management to drive this kind of initiative. But data marketplace today is maybe the most discussed approach. Data marketplace with data products inside. So data managed as a product. I will repeat that this is difficult. The organization take months or years to arrive at this stage of maturity. But in the meanwhile, you can use, of course, a resource center on an intranet and try to sponsor that common source of knowledge, of files, shared information. There will be some people, even salespeople, that will always ask you the file via email, even if there is a self-serve platform, a self-serve tool to search and find the file. But anyway, again, it's about culture. In months and maybe some years, you will convince, hopefully, people that they need to self-serve because they will find another valuable information if they go at a shared center. If you manage, for example, a WordPress site, today it's quite easy to enrich a media library with company documents, to organize a knowledge base of product documents. It's what I've been doing in these years in the company. We have, as a marketing team, we act as resource hub makers. And of course, this needs manutention. This needs to be curated. So it takes time. But it spreads the knowledge within the organization across different teams, thanks to digital resources that we have today at a low cost.
What kind of advice can you give to marketers who can't get some data because of policy, because it's hidden? I often see this issue when someone pay money, okay, please provide me results, but sorry, I can't show this data because of policy. Some wrong people can know about that. So can you advise how to explain about importance of sharing this data? Or if you can't get it, any tips what to do then?
It's an issue in largest corporations, in a very global, large organization. For example, I organized a course, since I love teaching, a course for a global player in the logistics. This player is in Japan, and they only share some marketing capabilities with the Europe branch. This is difficult, of course, for the people in Europe, because you can't take advantage of the full marketing stack. For example, you can use LinkedIn, but maybe you cannot change content on the website. So sometimes they struggle. They struggle because they are far geographically, and maybe because of rigid policies, of strict policies. They can't manage to do everything that they plan and they would like to do. So it's just real life. What to do in these cases? Some kind of certification can be helpful because, for example, there is the ISO 27001, which is less common, less known than the ISO 9001, which is the most common certification for a company. Thousands of companies have this basic certification of their processes. The 27001 version is about information security. When you make an internal audit for information security, while you are doing this, you learn how information flows within your departments. How can be better shared? Because you are required to compile a list of the different levels of privacy, of content restriction, of legal matters. So sensitive information must be protected. While you do this, you learn. For example, we certified in the software company I work for, and this was a huge process, spent hundreds of hours, but we learned so much. And the organization is making steps forward. Processes are better. The information is much better known and shared today.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Let's talk about their own data. When companies analyze a lot of data, but sometimes we need to divide their own data that might mislead. And I can share one example. For example, once we decided to promote a website by using data from YouTube channel, one company, but audience was different. The target audience different, because on YouTube the audience was looking for ways how to learn, how to get educational content. On website sells services, products, so audience is different. Can you tell how to? And we tried to set up paid marketing, and then we got it. We need to change the approach because the audience is different. Can you tell how to divide their own data before implementation? For example, if you have a lot of data, you provided research, but sometimes we can be, not sometimes, we often, I always make mistakes, it's part of the job. So any tips how to divide their own data from right data?
It's a huge question. Everyone makes mistakes of course, in planning the ways you are going to measure your efforts as a marketer. Your efforts are so divided today. It's so tough, the competition and the array of options you can use. If people wants to be educated on YouTube, which is the second largest search engine in the world and the best source for education, maybe, still today, when there are specialized website platforms about education, but what's inside the YouTube is great. It's of great value if you can search. Anyway, it's not easy, of course, to aim for conversions. Because if we think of the funnel, YouTube may be the higher part of the funnel, the top of the funnel, where many people discover your educational content, and only few people we go down at the down of the funnel because they really want to buy something. So it's quite common, in my opinion, as you told, to have few conversion on website in a situation like this. Maybe that Google just decided to remove video thumbnails from search engine pages, and it's like a shock, because the videos had so much power in search engine pages until today. So we don't know in the next months what's gonna happen with the search engine pages and the rich snippets results of video. So I do not like to say. I'd like to say, make, of course, your video if you search for conversion, but try to give power to your landing page on your website, because you have much more control on that. How to give power? Of course, with backlinks and with digital PR. You need to be known as a brand. It's difficult on YouTube. I have a great production, for example. You, Anatoly, you are so constant. So consistent in your production, you product every day. So of course you have a competitive advantage in producing video, but some brands can't have this effort, can't manage such marketing budget for making videos internally in there. Maybe if there's only one person in the digital marketing team, so they have to do with small resources, with a few videos, and they can stay maybe on YouTube all the time and really take advantage of the power of YouTube. So it may be helpful to create one single landing page and try to give all the power to that landing page by spending the other time in procuring backlinks, quality backlinks to the page, and of course trying to engage journalists and bloggers for digital PR.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, Andrea, I have the question about something that we mentioned that I usually do a lot. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I keep doing them, and but I didn't know another way how to learn something, because if I don't know, I need to start from best practices, from generic information. Then I always fail and understand I need to change something, to adapt, to consider preferences, and that's okay. If you start from basic information. Can you tell about common mistakes that companies still do by managing data, and your tips how to find a much better way?
Okay, managing data, you don't have to take anything for granted. So you don't have to take for granted that data is actually flowing and is actually shared within the organization. Just because people tend to do the same things when it comes to procurement of information, because they are always in a hurry. People always struggle to make their own part of the job. For example, salespeople are engaged in so many meetings with clients. So if you have a lot of meetings during the day, if you stay a lot of time with clients, maybe your motivation to find by yourself the information you need can be lower. Especially salespeople, traditional salespeople, which are much less used to self-serve information. Younger generations, I think, that are much more tend much more to self-serve. And for example, there are statistics by Forrester about self-serving in B2B buying. Another statistics, which I don't remember the source, but it's 4 researchers out of 5 in B2B within 2025 will be self-served. So people don't even contact you anymore as a salesperson of a company, but go to your website, to your company website, and try to do everything by themselves. This means, coming back to mistakes in managing data, that maybe you are not updating enough your website, or you are taking for granted that the B2B complex customer journey is developing across other channels, when today we live still in a world where company websites are so important for brand perception. So don't take for granted is my message, that the customer journey of your potential customer is in other channels, because you studied that it worked like this 10 years ago. Everything is changing. Search marketing is changing as well, both in B2B and in consumer markets. For example, search engines are still one of the top. If you look at the digital reports, there's that famous report by We Are Social, which is global, and it's a gold mine, because it's 300 and more slides, presentations for free about digital behavior across every country of the world. You learn so many things if you download this report. For example, one thing that impressed me is that search engines is still on top of brand discovery. People still discover new brands in search engines. And you know that this year is the most interesting year maybe for search engine marketing since 10 or 15 years, because people are starting to wonder what's going to happen with Bing AI, if it's going to erase, going to bite some market share points from Google. Until last year, before ChatGPT, people were sure about Google being a monopoly and not being touched by anyone, and not being even impressed by any competition. So I think Google is gonna prolong its leadership for many years, but things changed the last November with the release of ChatGPT and the acceleration of artificial intelligence in products available to the public. I'm sorry, it was quite long as an answer and touched so many things, but in my opinion, it's only with an holistic discussion about this we can discuss this topic.
Yeah, Google still has these positions. We'll see what kind of future will be. That's good to have this competition, because when only one company can take the most search traffic, like plus 90%, it's a lot. So I'm excited if Bing can take some position, and if this technology chat will help people. I think in the end, customers will win, users will win. It doesn't matter what kind of search you will use, chat, search. Customers will win because this technology can help simplify our experience. And for example, my team also created the tool that can help to create content at scale in homepage. It's called golden button, guys. It's not. You need to change, edit, because AI can't create high quality content. It's impossible because it's the best rewriting tool ever. Rewriting. Nobody cares about rewriting. People need something new, so you need to add data, new valuable insights. Then you can get high quality content. Andrea, I have the final question about how you can teach companies, decision makers, people about using data. It's a big struggle. For example, if I get a new client who don't understand SEO, so don't understand, then I usually tell them, take my course, learn a little bit, use Google, use YouTube, find content, learn the basic, because without basics it's hard to go ahead. If we don't understand each other, we can't create great results. But if you understand the basic, then I usually spend some time to learn different products. For example, I promote crypto websites, forex, trading, investing. I spend time to learn how to trade, how to get it, and even I can spend some money with that. I lose this money because 95% of traders lose money, but in the end I can learn. It's not a lot of money that I can't allow to lose, but I can learn how it works. Can you tell how to teach about management data, how you teach your methods, how to transfer to decision makers about understanding the basics of management data?
Ooh, another tough question. $1 million question.
Yeah.
Okay. It depends who you have in front of you, of course. If some decision maker is involved in the course, I'm happy because senior people can make sound business decision and can have influence into the company. But junior people, younger people follow better my advices usually, because they are like a sponge. they are willing to learn. They're young, and their mind is flexible. So it's a matter of balance. You need to strike the balance. You need to understand how to influence people senior enough to spend money and to change processes, but younger enough to be enthusiastic and to get the most from your courses. It's a challenge. A mid senior profile would be the best, because has some experience. So it's listening to you, but it's not thinking that it's just theory. Okay, my courses are practical, of course, but of course there's some theory always, because we needed to to explain what's crawling, indexing, ranking, the phases of a search engine. So you need to present some slides to people. A few slides, and we are on Screaming Frog. This is the the method is just this, that the presentation part must not take too long, and then hands on instruments and tools. So people, if you only read and present slides, people are gonna sleep within 2 hours, or maybe less. So usually my method is a mix of first part presentation and then hands-on the tools, and people get very satisfied about this, because they have a key concept in mind. Also, they just tried how to do things practically.
Nice. And I have the final question. It's not about data, it's not about marketing, not about SEO. It's about Italy. I want to ask you. You mentioned in the beginning of podcast that you relocated from Milan to Torino, and when I was in Italy, I found that people love soccer. In Italy, it's football. So. In Milan, you need to love Inter Milan or Milan, two teams, but you relocated to Torino, so you change your priorities to watch Torino or Juventus, or just leave your all. I don't know.
My priority has always been to see Juventus,
Okay.
but I luckily I am a soccer enthusiast, so I can see every beautiful game and enjoy it. For example, Champions League these days is giving me so much relief after stressful days. Such beautiful matches. And Manchester City, for example, was beautiful to watch, because they defeated Bayern Monaco in such a way, with Holland, which is like a monster, a modern robot of soccer, perfection in scoring, and so much strength, so much coordination, rapid game. I enjoy Premier League, so I like watching foreign teams in Champions League as well. I always thought the Champions League is my favorite tournament ever. Champions League, Wimbledon, and Ferrari winning races, and it's my podium for sports.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, it's the way to take away stress. But when my team is playing, I usually get more stress, than to take away the stress, because when Ukraine can play, and I always wanna win, but it's life. Many other great teams, so it's stressful. Sometimes I can get more stress, after watching the game. Andrea, it's a big pleasure to get in the show, to learn from you. You always share a lot of valuable insights. I need to go to an emergency room, to consume all this information, to digest and think how to implement them. It's a big pleasure. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to follow you, how to reach out to you.
Okay, you should follow me on LinkedIn. I'm sharing each day one tool, resource, book, or something I learn and share. And every 2 weeks, my newsletter, CIO and Co, meaning content, meaning and other things, digital technologies, of course, AI, which I'm very passionate about. And YouTube, my personal website, andreapaternostro.com. And I'm also a publisher. I have Italia Weekend Network with 5 websites, and we try to give the best about spending your time in Italy. So if you come to Italy, visit our website and enjoy your time. It was my pleasure, of course, to be here.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I love Italy. I was in Milan, Rome. I need to remind all these places. Venezia, yeah. So yeah, I'm going back in some time when I have this time. Guys, thanks a lot for listening and watching us. Andrea, it's a big pleasure. Thanks again. I love all your valuable insights, guys. You need to follow Andrea on social media on LinkedIn. I'll submit the link in the description below to the website, to the LinkedIn profile, and see you next time.